Buongiorno studenti! If you are struggling to put Italian words in the right order, today I have good news for you. I'm going to show you how to build Italian sentences step by step, and you will see that it's actually easier than you think. If you want to master Italian grammar, make sure to subscribe to my channel and enable notifications. You will get fresh lessons that focus on making Italian grammar simple and practical. And let me know in the comments what's the Italian sentence structure that confuses you the most. I always read all your comments. Ok, iniziamo. Let's begin. Now, the good news, la buona notizia, is that the basic Italian sentence structure is actually very similar to the English one. So let's see and let's start with a basic pattern. The basic pattern in English is subject, verb, and object. In Italian, soggetto, verbo e oggetto. Subject, verb, object. What are these? Now, the subject is the doer of your sentence, the person who does something or the thing that does something. The verb is the action of the doer. And the object, l'oggetto, is the thing or the person that's affected by the action of the doer, of the soggetto. So remember, soggetto, verbo, oggetto. This is exactly the same structure both in English and in Italian. Now let's see some examples of this basic structure. Let's suppose you want to say, I eat the cake. Let's analyze the sentence first in English and then in Italian. I eat the cake. I am the subject because I am the doer. I am the person who's doing the action. To eat is the verb, is the action that I'm doing, which is the action of eating. And the cake, the poor cake, is the thing that's directly affected by my action of eating it. So, I is the soggetto, eat is the verbo, and the cake is l'oggetto. In Italiano, I eat the cake. Io mangio la torta. Io, soggetto, mangio, verbo, la torta, oggetto. Another example, if you want to say Maria reads a book, same structure in Italian. How would you say that? Maria legge un libro. Maria is the subject, legge is the verb, and un libro is the object. Quindi soggetto, verbo, oggetto. Ultimo esempio of this basic structure. Let's suppose you want to say, we book the flight. How would we say that? Noi prenotiamo il volo. We book the flight. Exactly the same structure. Now, this was the good news, la buona notizia. Now on to less good news, la cattiva notizia. La cattiva notizia is that we do have some important differences when building our sentences in Italian. You probably noticed those, so my goal here is to clarify them so you can understand them and use them correctly. The first most important difference in the Italian sentence structure is about subject pronouns. Now, in Italian, we often skip the subject pronoun, which is io, tu, lui, lei, so the equivalent of I, you, he, she, etc. Now, why do we skip the subject pronoun? Why can we do that? The reason why we skip it and the reason why we can do that is that in Italian, the information about the subject is embedded into the verb. The verb ending in Italian changes depending on the specific subject, and we have several endings, one dedicated to each subject pronoun. So repeating the subject pronoun oftentimes sounds redundant. That's why we don't use them, that's why we drop them, and that's why we can do that. Whereas in English, you couldn't because you would be lacking important information. Let me give you some examples. Let's suppose you want to say, I speak Italian. In English, you need to say, I speak Italian, because if you just say, speak Italian, you'll be like, who are you talking about? In Italian, to speak is parlare, and I speak is parlo, io parlo. If you drop io, Still good. So you say parlo italiano. And you cannot misunderstand that for another form, because if you want to say you speak Italian, how would you say that? Tu parli italiano. So the ending change, that's the basic of conjugating verbs in Italian. The ending change, and that ending is giving you the information of who did the action, who the subject is. So remember, you can drop the subject pronoun in Italian. Let me give you just one more example. Let's suppose you want to say you work here. How would you say that in Italian? Tu lavori qui, or just, as I would recommend, lavori qui. So remember, although it's not wrong to use the subject pronoun in Italian, we actually very often, almost always, drop it because it feels redundant. Now, you can still keep the subject pronoun if you want to emphasize who did something. I always explain this with this example. Let's suppose you're quarreling with someone over something and you want to really point out who did what. Like, for example, breaking a vase, and you want to say you broke the vase. So meaning not you did that. In that case, we would resume the usage of the subject pronoun because we want to really highlight who did what. So that would be tu. So I'm capitalizing to make it more emphatic. Hai rotto il vaso. Tu hai rotto il vaso. Whereas just saying hai rotto il vaso would be more neutral. Va bene? Okay, other than that, just drop the subject pronoun to sound more authentic and natural in Italian. Ok, andiamo avanti. Let's move on. Another important difference is about article usage. In Italian, we love to use our articles. We use our articles more often, way more often than in English. For example, if you want to say I love pizza, how do you say that in Italian? We say amo la pizza. I love the pizza. I know, it's weird, but that's how we say that. We tend to use the article way more than you do in English, and this is something you really want to focus. Let me give you another example. Let's suppose you want to say she calls her friend. How would you say that? Chiama, I'm dropping the subject pronoun, chiama la sua amica. La sua amica. See, we also use the article with possessive adjectives. Okay, so remember, use your articles in Italian. Numero 3. So third difference in the sentence structure that I want you to notice, and that is adjective position. In Italian, most adjectives that describe a noun, come after the noun, not before the noun as in English. So if you want to say the red car in Italian, you will not say the red car. You will not say la rossa macchina, but instead you will move the adjective after the noun. So you will literally say the car red, la macchina rossa. That's the correct placement for describing adjectives in Italian. They usually come after the noun. Un altro esempio, the interesting book. How would you say that? Il libro interessante. See, we move the adjective after the noun, after libro. Molto bene ragazzi, there you have it, your basic sentence structure in Italian explained. Now remember, Italian follows similar patterns to English, but you need to pay attention to those key differences that were covered today. If you found this lesson helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Italian lessons that make Italian grammar simple and actionable. Now, it's important that you practice building sentences using these patterns, so do that now and let me know in a comment if you would like to see more advanced sentence structures. And I will see you in the next video. Ci vediamo al prossimo video.